Imagine a letter sitting on your desk, unopened. It was written by you 10 years from now. You break the seal. The handwriting is yours. The first line, "I wish I had known this sooner." Now ask any person who has built something real. A scientist, an athlete, an entrepreneur. Ask them what they would tell their younger self. Almost every single one gives the same answers. And none of those answers are about money or luck. They're about small, quiet choices made every single day. This is not a get-rich-quick list. These are the mistakes that don't hurt when you make them. You make them, and life just keeps moving. Nothing seems to break, nothing alarms you. The hurt arrives years later, quiet and heavy, when you finally realize how much compounding you missed. Rule 1, your time is worth more than you think. At 20 days feels slow and years feel distant. That slow feeling is the most expensive illusion you own. 1 intentional hour a day, just one. That is 365 hours a year. Now improve by just 1% every single day. After 12 months, you are 37 times more capable. Time does not wait for you to feel ready, and yet most of us freeze, convinced everyone is watching. Cornell psychologists ran an experiment about exactly that feeling. Students wore an embarrassing t-shirt into a room of strangers. Then each student guessed how many people had noticed. They overestimated by 100%. Nobody is watching you the way you think they are. The spotlight you feel, it simply isn't real. And once you believe that, something changes in you, and you start to see how often fear held you still. The email drafted and never sent. The idea kept quietly to yourself. The room where you stayed silent. Each time the same fear. What will they think? Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. The reality? Half as many people notice as you think. Everyone is too busy starring in their own film. No one watches your stumbles as closely as you do. That gives you permission to try and fail. Rule 3. Build skills before chasing money. It sounds backwards when bills are real. But research across 22 countries found something surprising. Skills built in your 20s pay off more than you think. The return is underestimated by 25%. Because early wages don't tell the full story. The real payout shows up in your 30s and 40s. When others are starting over, you are compounding. Now here is Rule 4, and it might sting a little. The average person your age spends 4 hours a day scrolling. That is 58 full days, every single year. In 2024, researchers analyzed 70 separate experiments about reading. Books measurably build empathy and focus. They train your brain to understand what other people are thinking. Scrolling has not been shown to do any of that. Rule 4, read more than you scroll, if any of this is landing for you right now. Take 1 second and hit like. It costs nothing. It helps this reach the people who actually need it. And subscribe if you want the rest of the rules. We are only halfway through the list, because Rule 5 is the one most people push back on. And honestly, it might be the most important one here. Rule 5 is simple but easy to forget. Consistency beats motivation. Motivation feels like fuel until suddenly it doesn't. It spikes Monday morning, gone by Wednesday afternoon. Stanford research confirms motivation shifts with sleep and stress. It's a mood, not a method. Discipline is different. Discipline is a structure. It shows up whether you feel ready or not. The people who win aren't always the most inspired. They're the most consistent. And here is Rule 6. Stop waiting for permission. Most people spend years looking for a signal. A boss to promote them, a teacher to call them ready. That signal almost never arrives. The waiting feels like patience, but really it is the trap. Nobody is coming to hand you the green light. You have to give it to yourself. Right now, before you even feel ready. That is Rule 6. That is Rule 6. Rule 7, build before you consume. When you wake up, your mind is clean and quiet. No one else's ideas have filled it yet. Most people waste that window. They reach for the phone before they reach for themselves. The algorithm pours someone else's world into yours. Now you are reacting instead of creating. Spend that first hour writing, building, thinking. Creator mode first, consumer mode second. The order matters more than you think. Rule 8. Now look at the space around you. Behavioral scientist Wendy Wood tracked decades of human behavior. She found that 43% of your daily actions aren't real decisions. They're reflexes triggered by your surroundings. Phone on the nightstand? You check it every morning? Snacks on the counter? They vanish without you noticing. Your environment is quietly running your behavior on autopilot. Change your surroundings and your behavior changes with them. no willpower required. Because here is what Harvard discovered about motivation. Researcher Teresa Amabile analyzed nearly 12,000 diary entries, workers at 7 companies, years of honest daily notes. The biggest driver of motivation was not a raise. It was the simple feeling of making small progress. Even the tiniest step forward lit the brain up. Finish one small thing and your brain takes note. Start small, finish small things. The brain learns to trust you. Now for the last rule, the one that ties everything together. Every decision you make today is a gift or a burden, not a metaphor, a literal transfer across time. The habits you build right now are the ones they wake up with. The skills you skip now, those are the gaps they'll feel. Your future self is watching every small choice you make. They can't go back, but you still can. So here is what no one tells you. These 10 rules are not 10 separate things. They form one loop. Time protected becomes skills built. Skills build confidence from the inside out. Confidence shrinks the phantom spotlight to nothing. Your environment locks the habit in, and consistent habits become the person you are. That person is what future you inherits. Not luck, not talent, a system. One you start building right now, and you have already begun to build it. You chose this video over the endless scroll. That already is rule 1. You chose to invest this time in learning, instead of drifting through a feed. That is not nothing. That is the beginning of different compounding. Every great change starts with one small choice. This one was yours. If this helped, hit subscribe. There is more. See you in the next one.